morning to my dear students and welcome to our social science class. So it's been a long that we are meeting like here, and the thing is I wanted to discuss question answers like the PT1 paper, but today we have got personal study class, so I'll not be able to do that. So what we will do on our next live class, we will discuss about the chapter, the PT1 question paper, and in case if you have any doubt regarding the previous chapter, you can ask me. So today we will begin the third chapter, which is known as the Delhi Sultans. Okay, so I hope you remember in our second chapter we have come to know about the Kaveri Delta, how it got expanded and how tripartite struggle took place because of the delta area, right? Because everyone wanted to control in that area. That was a vast area, that was a big area, and everyone wanted to control. So who are the three important rulers that wanted to control Kannauj? Those were Pala, Rashtrakutas, and Pratiharas, right? So today we will try to know the chapter about Delhi Sultans, about their reign, about their rule, how for how many years they ruled, and what are the other dynasties that falls under Delhi Sultans, right? So first of all, let us see the chapter at a glance. So in this chapter we will come to know about Delhi, how the position of Delhi, and what are the transformation of Delhi by Delhi Sultans. Okay, so we will find out about Delhi Sultans, who are they, what they did, and for how many years they ruled, right? Then we will come to know about the expansion of Delhi Sultanate. Sultanate means what? The area, how till how far it got expanded. Okay, then we will know administration under Khalidis and Tughlaqs, and these are the sultans. Okay, Delhi sultans. And at last we'll come to know the sultans in the 15th and 16th century. So basically in this chapter we'll come to know about about Delhi from 12th to 15th and 16th century. What are the things that took place, what are the changes that took place, and for how many years the Delhi sultans ruled, and soon after that the Mughal took the power over Delhi. Okay, so before sultans there were some other rulers who ruled Delhi. Let us know who are they. So first of all, you have heard about Rajputs, right? You came to know that how Rajputs were emerging as a, very important community at that moment, right? So what happened? Rajput ruled Delhi, and one of the famous Rajput rulers are is Onga, is known as Anangapala Tomara. He ruled for 1130 to 1145 century, and soon after that, in the middle of the 12th century, Chauhan he defeated the Tomaras, and he took the power of Delhi in around 1165 to 1192, and there was a famous ruler known as Prithviraj Chauhan, who actually ruled for around 1175 to 1192. Okay, so you can see here I have given a short description about the Tomaras and Rajputs of Delhi, and what are the things they did for, and why Delhi was known as a very important capital or an important city, right? So Delhi became an important city only in the 12th century. So Tomaras, Rajputs, and Chauhans. Let us know what they did actually. So Delhi first became the capital of a kingdom only under Tomaras, who were the part of the Rajputs dynasty. So both Tomara and Chauhan, they belong to Rajputs, but there were other dynasties. That is why Tomara was the first dynasty under whom Delhi became as the first capital kingdom. And the Tomara Rajputs were defeated in the mid 12th century by Chauhans. Delhi became an important commercial center under Tomaras and Chauhans. Okay, so when these two rulers ruled Delhi, Delhi became an important commercial center. You know, right? What is the meaning of commercial? Like more business, more trade took place in Delhi, and people became very rich. Mainly these Jaina people, Jaina merchant became very rich, who lived in Delhi, and they constructed several temples, and also there was a wide circulation of coins minted here called Dehliwal, right? So these are the things that were taken place around 12th century, and mostly the first rulers, the Rajput rulers, the Tomara and the Chauhans, they did a lot to improve the status and the position of Delhi. So after that, what happened, there was some changes. So after Chauhans, Delhi was controlled by the sultans, okay, Delhi sultans. So there's not only one sultan, but there are many sultans, many rulers were there who comes under Delhi sultans, okay. So soon after the Chauhans got defeated by Delhi Sultans, the Sultanate refers to five Muslim kingdom. So these are known as these are known as the early Turkish rulers, then Khalizi, then Tughlaq, Said, and Lodi dynasty. Already it's in your book, you can see here. So these five Muslim kingdoms or dynasties were known as together known as Delhi Sultanate, right? So were based mostly in Delhi for 320 years. Just imagine for how many years they ruled, this five dynasty. For 320 years they ruled Delhi. It's from 1206 till 1526. Okay. So the Delhi Sultans built many cities in the area that is known as Delhi. These are this Delhi was given various names like Delhi-e-Kahana, then Jahanpana, Siri, Firuzabad, to a name few. So these are the names which were given to Delhi after sultans built many cities in the areas here and there near Delhi. So these are the five important dynasties of under Delhi Sultanate, like the early Turkish rulers, then Khalizi, then Tughlaq, Said, Lodi dynasty. And one more thing, you might see there are some gap, right? For example, the Ghiyasuddin Balban, he ruled from 1266 to 1287. Again, Khalizi dynasty ruled from 1290 to 1296. So you can see the difference of the 3 years from 1288, 1289 till 1290 who ruled. So what happened in this gap, there was no particular leadership, like there was no proper supervision, hence there were some problems which arose at that time on that gap. And soon after, there was someone who actually thought of taking the lead, and like Jalauddin Khaliji, he took lead in 1220. So that gap years were the years where things were very uncertain, no leaders were there, okay. So from where does we get all such information from Delhi Sultans? So first of all, we got the information from coins, as I have told you, Dehliwal. Inscriptions, already you know what are inscriptions, which are actually done in the hard or metal objects. Then architecture, Tariq singular, Tuareg plural. Now this is the new word which you will learn about, because coins you know, inscription you know, architecture you know. Tariq or Tawarik is a new word which you will come to know, okay. Let us see what is the meaning of Tawarik. Okay, there is no space, okay. So Tawarik, I have given a short description of Tawarik. So chronicles written by, you remember chronicles, right? Even in your exam, chronicles came, right? So chronicles written by scribes were called Tariq or Tawarik during this period. So the scribes who wrote chronicles, means scribes also wrote manuscripts, right? But scribes who wrote chronicles, they are known as Tawarik. Both in singular they are known as Tariq, in plural they are known as Tawarik. So the origin of the term, so Tariq is an Arabic word meaning history or historiography. So a person who writes chronicle, the scribes basically who writes chronicle are known as Tawarik, and Tawarik is an Arabic word meaning history. So mostly Tawarik are written in Persian. It was the language of the administration in the Delhi Sultanate. So Tawarik in Delhi Sultanate mostly Persian language was used, and Tawarik were written in Persian. Okay, so the authors so the authors of Tawarik, means the book, Okay, Tawarik means the chronicles which were written by the scribes. Tawarik were learned by men, secretaries, then administrators, poets, and courtiers. So these are the people who are actually the authors of Tawarik. So life of an author, how Tawarik lived. They lived in cities and wrote histories of the sultans, expecting rich rewards in return. As you remember that Brahmins wrote about the kings and they got gifts in the copper plate, written in the copper plate, ascribed in copper plates. Likewise, same in Delhi Sultanate also. The scribes who wrote chronicles, I mean the Tawarik, they also got some rewards from the sultans of Delhi, and as they wrote good things and the histories of the sultans. Okay, and they lived in cities. Advised, they recounted events and advised rulers on governance, means how to maintain a government, how to maintain a country, how to run a country, how to rule a particular state, emphasizing the significance of just rule, the need to preserve an ideal social order, right? And the viewpoint, according to them, they think that an ideal social order was based on birthright and gender distinctions. So they believe that not anyone can become a ruler. He has to it has to be based upon birthright. For example, a king, a son will become a ruler, not any other person in the particular kingdom, right? So he told about gender discrimination. They have a they believe that male domination actually, and they believe in birthright, that a person who is born in a royal family should carry out the royal heritage. Okay. Students, this is all for today's class, and as we have learned a lot about the Delhi Sultans, and first of all, you came to know who ruled India, Rajput dynasties. Then we came to know about Tamaras and Chauhans, how they actually made and improved the position of Delhi by making it as a commercial centers, and many people became rich under their reign. And we came to know about Delhi Sultans who controlled Delhi for 320 years. Then it was Delhi was given various names like Jahapana, Firzabad, Delhi, Kohana. Then these are the five dynasties under Delhi Sultanate, and we came to know a lot about Delhi Sultanate by use of by coins, inscription, architecture, and Tawarik or Tariq. As I have told you, what is Tariq? So Tariq are the chronicles which were written by scribes, and it was written in Persian, and it is a Arabic word meaning history. And Tawarik were written mostly by men secretaries, administrators, poets, and courtiers. Then Tawarik live in cities. They wrote histories of sultans and they got rewards also. And they think they advise the governance. They advise the significance of ruler and to need to preserve an ideal social order, need to follow. And they, according to them, a royal heritage can, what to say, take out or run out the legacy, carry out the legacy of a particular kingdom. Okay, so students, this is all about today's class, and for today you will just write about the chapter at a glance. Whatever we are going to study in this chapter, you will write the chapter number, name properly, and I shall give you a small homework in your Google Classroom. Please go through it. I'll give the question in the Google Classroom, also in the WhatsApp, but you will send me the homework only in Google Classroom. From now on, we will only send the homework in Google Classroom. Okay, I'm giving you the homework soon after the class. Thank you. Have a nice day and God bless you.